Welcome back to another Texas Chainsaw Massacre the Game video. We got some exciting new details. 2 new screenshots in this one, as well as some details on the technical test. Not so much when it's happening specifically, but how it's happening and how you can get involved with it right now so you don't miss out, because there's limited seats. Pressure's on, huh? But let's start with the screenshots. First things first, new image here from the slaughterhouse. It's Sissy. She's sitting inside of the tool storage. Oh yeah, she's holding a razor blade here, and you get a nice glint from the sun on it. And this image, it doesn't do a lot in terms of like new details and information. It just shows you how nice this game is going to look and how the lighting is going to work. And the quote they had with it on Twitter said, "When victims make their way outside, the family will be ready." So again, not a lot of details, but there are a couple things I do want to point out. You get kind of an idea of how lighting's going to work in this game because we talked about it last video that I was not so much concerned, but it's just something that I'm aware of, that if you're playing a horror game during a very bright and sunny day like this is in the Texas heat, that it's just going to take away a fear factor, I think, when you're running about outside. This image kind of shows where it could still be scary because how quickly you can get into darkness, right?
Yeah, I mean, even if you look in the background, like back by that gate, you can see shadows as well that you can hide in a little bit. Makes it a little harder to see.
Right.
And then inside this tool storage as well, it's pretty dark in there.
Yeah, exactly. And there's going to be plenty of places like that. That indoor environment, the basement of the slaughterhouse itself, it's still going to be hidden in darkness, and I think there'll still be plenty of scare factor to work with. But when you're running outside, yeah, sure, it's going to be sunny, it's going to be bright, but there's still plenty of places to hide. And there's so much going on in this environment in and of itself, like we're seeing here with all the straw bales and all the blue bonnets and the bushes. There's plenty of places to hide still, so you will still be stealthy even when the sun is shining on you like that.
Yeah.
One thing that's interesting to me is obviously Grandpa is still in play. So where's Grandpa chilling on these maps? It makes a lot of sense inside of the family house, but we just going to roll him into the slaughterhouse, let him chill and watch?
Yeah, might as well.
I guess. I want the opening cinematic to be like the cook or the hitchhiker just rolling him in. Like, you stay here.
Keep watch.
Yeah, you keep watch. I want every game to start like that. But okay, so another thing I noticed here, this could be nothing, it could be something. You have the ladder that's kind of coming out of that pipe there. That could be the ladder to get out from the basement area. That could be one of those exits there. Or that could be similar to what the well was on the family house map, where I think it was GameSpot or IGN confirmed that if you can jump into those wells and be sent back into the basement of the family house. So it's a quick escape to get away from the family when you're running around outside, but you're back in the basement. Right. You got to do it all over again. So I wonder if that's what one of those escapes are. And then the wheel that's just to the right of that above Sissy's head, it kind of looks like you could, like a door kind of wheel, where you could roll something and open something up. I wonder if that's interactable, that if that's something that could relate to the victims escaping, or it could be one of those things, just another thing to get back downstairs and a quick escape if you have to.
Maybe.
I don't know. Like I said, could be overthinking that. It was just something I spotted there that could be one of those quick escapes for victims in a tough scenario that just kind of resets you and puts you back into the basement. That's pretty much it for this screenshot. He's at the very least a very nice looking game. Yeah. The game looks great.
For sure. Lots of nice shadows.
Yeah, and the difference between how bright the outside is and how dark this can be, it's an accurate representation of how like the human eye works, where when something's blown out, if you're standing inside shade and you're looking out to something bright, it can be kind of blown out like this is. And then vice versa, when you're out in the bright light and you're looking into a dark room like this tool storage, you won't be able to see nothing. You won't be able to see anything.
Right.
So it looks like they've caught that perfectly, and that will be very powerful when playing there.
Yeah.
All right, so the next screenshot, this one just came out today, is of Grandpa. Our first like real close look at Grandpa in game in 4K like this. And the caption just read, "Feed him the blood, find your victims." And of course, we already know you feed Grandpa blood, he's going to give you a little bit of a spotlight, kind of a sensibility of where everybody is at in a near vicinity of him. So he's going to be very crucial to gameplay. Now, there's not a lot of details kind of being revealed here. Doesn't confirm much. I think the picture, I kind of giggled when I saw it, because at the end of the day, this is Kane Hodder playing Leatherface, feeding himself as he was mocapping Grandpa. Because Kane Hodder also does the mocap for Grandpa, which is hilarious. Can't wait to see more of that. But Beyond that, the only thing I really see here is, we see the 68 out of 80 in the bottle, in Leatherface's bottle. Maybe he already started pouring. There's already some kind of out of it. But I think this is kind of a first real confirmation, although it may be obvious, first real confirmation that you don't have to have the bottle completely full to go out of your way and feed Grandpa and kind of get his blood starting here.
Maybe. Yeah. It could be that it was full and he's just in the process of pouring it. Or, he only just started with, 68, 69, 70.
Yeah, right.
Out of 80.
Right. First time in any of these family pictures that the ability in the bottom right-hand corner hasn't been active.
Right.
So there is some sort of cooldown that comes along with that. And then I thought it was cool. Maybe it means nothing, but Grandpa is holding a hammer. So can he do some killing?
Final kill.
Maybe that would be great.
Yeah, when there's only one victim left, maybe you can, if they're close enough, you can somehow get them to Grandpa and he can deliver the final blow.
I hope so. I mean, we saw in the mocap, I don't know if you remember, but in the mocap, we saw him, Kane playing Grandpa and then bringing the body to him and kind of having them bent over, tied up over like a bucket. So maybe we have some sort of recreation of that scene with Sally, although he doesn't really follow through in the movie, but
he tried.
Maybe in the game, maybe if he has enough blood, if you get him juiced up enough, maybe then he can start swinging that hammer at least a little bit if you bring a victim to him. Maybe if you bring a victim to him, he can get more blood out of them than you could.
Right, and then you bring the victim to him, he gets him with the hammer.
Yeah.
Gets a little blood, but then the victim's able to get away and they all kind of celebrate that they got a lot of blood. And that's a huge amount of blood you can get, but I'm sure it's going to be pretty tricky to get a victim to Grandpa.
I would think so. And I do wonder if just out of frame here below Grandpa's feet, if there's a bucket right there.
I hope so.
I do wonder. Because, like I said, we haven't gotten a lot of really close shots at Grandpa that reveal a lot of his positioning, how much he can move, and all that.
Right.
So we did get a confirmation, though, in a recent Reddit post that Andy, community rep over there at Gun, said victims can't kill Grandpa, but they can stab him with a bone scrap, which will temporarily disable him and his ability. So I wonder, one, is that ever actually going to be worth it?
Right.
Is that going to be worth it to go out of your way to waste your bone scrap? Because I would assume once you use it on him, it's gone. So is it worth risking your life further and not having a bone scrap when you actually need it, when somebody who can kill you is ready to go, just so your victims aren't spotted a little bit longer?
Right. Like, it makes you think how powerful are Grandpa's abilities and how crucial they are to the family members that you would be willing to use a bone shard to temporarily disable some of those abilities rather than, using that to get away or help a victim.
Yeah. I wonder if you as a victim can see the perks that the family members are running for Grandpa ahead of time, similar to like offerings in Dead by Daylight where you see them ahead of time. I wonder if that's kind of how that's going to play out, because it seems that each family member will be able to run in their own Grandpa perk. And if some of those are insanely powerful, then maybe you're more willing then to use a bone shard on Grandpa to see how bad it gets.
Right.
So I'm curious about that, but this is a cool picture. I think this is my favorite picture yet, actually. I just love seeing Grandpa.
He's just happy to be involved.
Yeah, he's just happy to be there. No one's ever done killing like him. He was the best.
That's true.
All right, last but not least here, the technical test. We've been waiting on it. It's your first chance to really get to play the game, and the sooner we get the technical test, the closer we are to a release date, the sooner we get the actual game. Well, they did finally tweet out the other day. It was a Steam page video of adding it to the wish list. They said, don't forget to add us to your wish list on Steam to stay up to date on all things Texas Chainsaw, like the upcoming technical tests. And, Wes Keltner quote tweeted that. It's like, oh, technical test, get some eyeballs on it. And then, of course, they answered some questions later. The frequently asked questions about the technical test. It will be free to the public, but will have a limited amount of seats. So get it wishlisted now so you don't miss out. No NDA, so players can stream, create, and upload content. And it also will only be available via Steam on PC. So I know it's a bummer for exclusively console players out there. But, it makes sense for something like this. It is a smaller game. It's an indie dev studio.
It's a test.
And it's just a test. And what I imagine what you're doing with the technical test, because that wording is important, right?
Yes.
It's not a beta, it's not an alpha, it's not a stress test. Well, maybe they're kind of close. Maybe those are kind of synonyms. But I think the point they're doing here is to really hit huge bug tests here, and I think they want to get a server test in. I think that's kind of the point.
Right.
How much are you really going to stress these servers so that when the full game launches, how big do we need to go? How many do we need to have? How much money you got to dish out? Especially because these are dedicated servers. So,
yeah. Remember the launch of Friday the 13th?
it was bad. Yeah. Oh, I remember that first few days there, man. The world was shutting down.
Yeah, it was. No one was able to play. No one was able to log into the database. So this kind of test can help sort of figure out what's needed to not have that happen again, because that would be super unfortunate. Just you have all this hype behind a licensed Texas Chainsaw Massacre game,
Yeah.
and no one can play it day one.
Yeah. Like usually like F13 had a beta, right? And that caught a ton of bugs. That's usually what a beta's for. It's like purely bug testing.
A beta, yes.
Right. This is, I think it's really meant to get those servers ready to go so that when they do launch, it's clean and you don't have people not able to play the first day it actually comes out. So
yeah.
And what's holding you over on top of that is for those that can't play, that are on console or didn't get in time, they can still watch content. It still can be streamed. You still get videos. So you're going to get a ton of information from that, whether you play or not.
Yeah, absolutely. No NDA for that for content creators. That's kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah. I mean, we're kind of beyond the beta stage here. So I think they're really confident in terms of the bugs that are in there. The game, even when they did the gameplay preview for GameSpot and IGN and all those big folks, they all said it felt like it was ready to go. Like it was a pretty polished game. So I think they're confident in that regard. So this is just going to knock out those servers, see how it's going to go, and how much more they really need to set up before the actual launch. So we're getting there. I mean, this could be, obviously, that they're teasing it, it's close. I would actually say March. I would say we're getting it this month. But still, who knows? But it could literally, it could be announced tomorrow. Like it could be like that, and we could be running with it.
Yeah, let's get an April 1st announcement.
Please, God, don't do that. No, I would think like last week of March seems reasonable at this point. But I definitely think this month, and if not, it'd be shortly into next.
Yeah,
we're ramping up here.
Yeah, why mention it if it's still months and months and months away?
Yeah, and I think they're going to want to get the metagame news out before the technical test. So I think this coming week and the week after, I think we're going to start hearing more about that metagame stuff, all those perks and all that. So that's what I would think before you jump into the technical test and all just gets thrown at you and hits you in the face.
Right, yeah, because if everyone goes into the technical test, all these YouTubers and streamers, and they're getting shit on, right away, it's going to be similar to like Evil Dead, where people stop playing after the first day because it's hard to get the feel.
Yeah, it's you got to get past the learning curve. Right?
Exactly.
And some people just can't do that. Some people just don't want to do that, don't want to go out of the way to do that. Right. So, I think we're going to start hearing about that metagame very, very soon. But, hey, stay tuned here for more news on the game. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Turn notifications on. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like. Let us know in the comments what you're most excited for when it comes to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What do you think about these new screenshots, huh? What about Kane Hodder feeding Kane Hodder his grandpa? Fucking love it.
Nice.
I love it. All right, but with that, as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.